Welcome into the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Coming up on today's show, Dalvin Cook did just sign with the Baltimore Ravens after clearing waivers, but still want to have a conversation about him because a lot of fans were asking me, Chase, should San Francisco, with the uncertain nature of Elijah Mitchell's health because he's always injured, take an opportunity on a player who previously to this year had 4 straight years of more than 1,000 rushing yards. We're also going to get to the latest around Brandon Aiyuk. He is setting himself up for a massive payday, which could ring in around $23 million next offseason or this upcoming offseason, depending on how you want to look at it. And also, Bleacher Report threw out a trade idea, which would send Aiyuk to one of the top young quarterbacks in the NFL. What is the destination and what's the compensation? Stay tuned for that. First, we hope to catch you on Sunday for our Niners-Rams watch party. I'm going to be covering the College Football National Championship in Houston, but we're still going live on the 49ers Report, so I hope to see all of you there. We'll be giving away an autographed Trent Williams jersey as well as a raffle item as well. It's going to be the same production. I'll just be in Houston getting ready for Michigan, Washington. So turn on those notifications, therefore, when we do go live, you will be notified. As for the latest on Dalvin Cook, a lot of Niner fans wanted to see San Francisco maybe bring him in after he parted ways with the New York Jets. The Jets paid him a lot of money to just go away so that he could go somewhere else to sign with the playoff team after signing a 1-year deal late in the process. And New York let him go out of respect so that he could, at the tail end of his career, go to a team that could probably better utilize him with the Jets out of the playoff race, but also with their number one back being Breece Hall, who's a really, really solid player. And according to reports, Dalvin Cook signing with the Baltimore Ravens, why it would have, or at least could have made sense for San Francisco, Elijah Mitchell, as we know, talented back, always injured, and the coaching staff, given the lack of playing time for Jordan Mason, doesn't seem to trust Jordan Mason. Cook in 2023 wasn't used a lot, and the production wasn't there. He had 67 carries to his name for 214 yards and a career-low 3.2 yards per carry. And when I've watched Dalvin Cook this year, because I looked into the player when he was a free agent to see, he ran for 1,000 yards in 4 consecutive seasons. He signed a lofty deal with the Minnesota Vikings. Why isn't he signing with another team? Clearly, there is something there. And I came up with this. Dalvin Cook is cooked. And as we know with running backs, in an instant, in a blink, and very quickly, their best days can pass them by very, very fast because of the workload, the physicality, and the wear and tear at that position. Dalvin Cook, with what he was able to do with the Minnesota Vikings, he was at one point one of the best running backs in the league. Physical, a blend of finesse, able to run guys over but have this good pull-away speed, occasionally be used out of the backfield. In 2021, ran for 1,100 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and 6 touchdowns. In 2022, still a really good season statistically. More than 1,100 yards, 4.5 yards per tote, and 8 touchdowns. But for the Vikings, who drafted him, helped develop him, paid him, to let him go and no longer want anything to do with Dalvin Cook, I thought that was telling as well. And now we pivot to the analytics here. Next Gen Stats defines expected yards as the rushing yards that a ball carrier is expected to gain on a given carry based on the relative location, speed, and direction of blockers and defenders. These factors are measured by microchip data. The total of rushing yards over expected, short for RYOE or long for RYOE, is how many actual yards a runner gets over what is expected. And last year, Dalvin Cook ranked 55 out of 69 eligible runners in this metric last year. In 2021, he ranked 42nd out of 77. And in 2020, he ranked 8th out of 82. So that's partially the decline that was taking place, and that decline continued into 2023. Now he goes to the Baltimore Ravens, who are a run-heavy offense, who it seems as though regardless of the back that they utilize or use in that offense, they're always able to be successful, and we'll see how much that Dalvin Cook is utilized with Baltimore. Will he be good with the Ravens? Y for yes, N for nah. Be honest with me down below in the chat, and don't be scared to let us know your feedback. Today's show is sponsored by Factor Meals. Get 50% off using the code NinersChat50 at factormeals.com/NinersChat50. Look at the delicious meals on the screen right here. Salivating, right? They look so good, and we want you to get started on your resolutions with Factor so that you're ready for 2024. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered straight to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Forget frantic lunch preps and rush dinners. Factor's 2-minute meals are your secret weapon in the new year. Fuel up fast with restaurant-quality meals, all delivered straight to your door. On Friday, I will hit 235 straight days of running. I'm trying to beat my previous streak of 300. I wouldn't be able to get there if I was eating crappy food. Factor, awesome food. I know that what I'm eating is good for me, it tastes good, and it allows me to keep going with my fitness goals. 50% off, Niners Chat 50, link is down below, hanging out for you in the comments section and in the description of this video. As for the latest buzz on Brandon Aiyuk, what we're going to talk about here on the back half of the show, latest contract projection, and also Bleacher Report proposing a trade of Brandon Aiyuk to the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's time for the San Francisco 49ers to look ahead. And any good business out there does look ahead at the investments that they have to make in their own business, with their employees, and some of the changes that they have to make with their business strategy. That's what quality businesses do. You're always looking for ways to get better, and you're always having that foresight for some things down the road to prepare yourself for what's to come. And with the San Francisco 49ers here, they better prepare themselves to pay Brandon Aiyuk a lot of money if they want to continue to have one of the best wide receivers in the game on this roster. He is increasing his value, and his value has been increasing every year that he's been in the NFL. Because every year that he's been in the National Football League, the numbers have gotten better and better and better and better. And now the 4 years that he's been in the league since getting drafted in the first round in 2020 out of Arizona State. The asking price, I think, will start at north of $20 million per year for number 11. And the projected NFL salary cap for 2024 is going to go up once again because this league continues to be a booming business. $242 million is the expected NFL salary cap for next year. And after exercising his fifth-year option, the 49ers will pay Aiyuk in 2024 $14.1 million. Spotrac, a great service and website for contracts across all major professional sports, did a contract projection for what Aiyuk might be in the market for. And here's what they came up with. And oftentimes, they're in the ballpark of what a player might get paid. 4-year deal is their projection for Aiyuk at a total of $91.4 million. The average annual salary coming in just shy of $23 million per season. And of course, we're not sure what the total guaranteed money is going to be. That's TBD, but a large chunk of that $91.5 million. And with what Aiyuk has been able to do in his career, and I'll give you my scouting profile on him coming up just around the corner, this is why he's setting himself up to get paid handsomely. Comes into the league in 2020. And I thought what was impressive about that 2020 campaign, he played 12 games, so he missed a lot of time. But that was the COVID offseason where teams did not have preseason games and limited practices, and it just wasn't a normal football environment. But as a rookie, 60 catches, 748 yards, 12.5 yards per catch, 5 touchdowns. He also hurdled Marcus Epps, that former Eagle, in the image that we just showed you. Following year, remember he starts off in the doghouse, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan, started off slow, ended the season spectacularly well. And he still had 56 catches, 826 yards, average yards per catch at 14.8, and 5 touchdowns. Last year, he sets a career high for the most receptions in a season for 78, sets a career high for the most receiving yards in a season for himself at more than 1,000. Average yards per catch did go down at 13, but he did have 8 touchdowns, a new career high. And this year, he's been more explosive. He's been the primary downfield threat for quarterback Brock Purdy. He set a career high for the most receiving yards for himself at more than 1,300. He leads all NFL wide receivers and leads the NFL in yards per catch at 18.3. Is a touchdown away from tying his career high, and he's 6 catches away from tying that mark from last year. And what's impressive about what Aiyuk has been able to do throughout his career, this is a run-heavy offense for head coach Kyle Shanahan, yet he's continued to flourish in the pass game. And what makes him elite in my estimation, he's an excellent route runner who can really cross you up and fake you out. It is very difficult for a lot of defensive backs to stay in front of Brandon Aiyuk. Great footwork and reliable hands. What I like about Aiyuk too, he's a threat from goal line to goal line. He's not just a vertical guy who you can't use in the red zone. He's able to run that in and out route and has diversity to his route tree, both in the red zone but all across the field, where you can use him at all moments of the game. And speaking of that route tree, you line him up in the slot, you line him up out wide, you put him in motion. He can run a deep cross, a shallow cross, an out route, get vertical, take the top off of the defense. That's really valuable. And for him being a complete wide receiver, that's why I've always said, really since last year, he's the number 1 wideout on this Niners team. It's not Deebo Samuel, who's just a special weapon and a one-of-one weapon in this league. The speed-yak combination for Aiyuk is really special. And then lastly, the effort, the toughness that he plays with. I love to watch a player like this who cares about his teammates, who's going to go downfield 50 yards on a Christian McCaffrey run, still blocking. Why? Because this is a team game, and that's his assignment. That's his job, and he wants to do his job, and his job is not just to catch passes. He wants to play some bully ball. So would you pay Aiyuk $22.8 million, which is that Spotrac projection? Type P for pay, W for let him walk because it's too pricey. Once again, you let me know down below in the comments section. As for that Bleacher Report trade idea, this is crazy to me. For those of you who don't want to pay Brandon Aiyuk, would you take a deal like this where the Niners got a 2024 first-round pick and a 2025 third-round pick? You could use that first-round pick on an offensive tackle, which is an area of need, and then the Jags get Brandon Aiyuk, who's able to team up with Trevor Lawrence. Here is the explanation from Bleacher Report. If Aiyuk becomes available, the Jaguars should be extremely interested. The team already has a major decision to make with Calvin Ridley, the team's number 1 wideout, who's set to hit free agency after this year. And if the Jags opt to extend Ridley, the move would cost them a second-round pick as part of his trade conditions. Jacksonville could instead allocate that type of capital toward the acquisition of Aiyuk, who will likely cost a first-round pick plus additional draft selections. The Jags could even consider going all in on the receiver position, locking up both Ridley and Aiyuk on the long-term deals to team them up with Trevor Lawrence. I don't give away special. I don't trade away special. And for a player who's steadily improved every year that he's been in the league, Aiyuk has become a critical member of this Niners offense, but also a critical member of this Niners culture. And you don't let a player who you've drafted and developed walk, or you don't trade him away. Find a way to upgrade your roster elsewhere, and with the salary cap going up, get creative with the cap to be able to pay a player like that. So what would you do? T for trade him, K for keep him. Share your opinions. I know it's somewhat controversial.